Adam Taxon talking with Daniel Greenfield, a.k.a. Sultan Knish, about his Wednesday, May 30th, 2012 column called The Patriotism of Palestinianism. Daniel, welcome, and let me first ask you, just for a little background, because this is a supplement to the actual article, who brought up the issue of patriotism as it comes with American taxpayers having to hand over more money to the corrupt and violent Palestinian regime?
In this case, there was a bid to actually once again try and reform the mountains of aid that are coming to the Palestinian Authority, and in this case the UNRW, which is the UN agency that's dedicated to the so-called refugees. And once again, this effort was tackled by claims that it was somehow against American interests. This time the claim was advanced by Democratic Senator Patrick Leahy, who said firmly that I hold America's interests first, and this is not in America's interests.
And there's something very unique about the UN program for the Palestinians, which you discuss in the article, but maybe you can revisit that a little bit here. And I guess 2 points that are unique, and I'll have you elaborate in a second, are that it's the only one organization that's for one specific group of refugees, and the other is that it's for descendants of refugees too. And what else am I missing about the point there that you want people to get?
And they're eternal refugees, because we're talking about refugees, supposed refugees from 50 years ago. We've got multi-generational refugees, which is completely ridiculous. To be doing this, there would have to be a UN agency that would be dealing with refugees from the Korean War, or refugees from the Vietnam War, or refugees from World War II. We don't have any such agency because it would be completely ridiculous.
Why do we keep funding it?
Because there's a very specific set of interests here. The first interest, of course, is undermining Israel. The second interest is that various Muslim countries have been in the business using them to undermine Israel, and not just Muslim countries, but obviously the Soviet Union, various allies of the Muslim world, including some European allies. And of course, there's the UN bureaucracy, which is in the business of getting paid.
And you have some interesting points in there about the creation of the state of Jordan, and whether there really is even a Jordanian people. What do you want people most to know about that?
First of all, the creation of Jordan was a completely artificial entity, and today 70% of Jordanians identify themselves as Muslims first rather than Jordanians, which is not the case in Egypt, where it's something like 30 to 40%. Because there really is no Jordanian nationality. You have the Hashemite king, the Hashemite family, were thrown up into a bunch of kingdoms by the British, but this was a completely artificial setup. These were completely artificial borders, artificial divisions. There is no Jordan, really. Jordan was a piece of the Palestine Mandate, a very large piece, that was carved out by Britain into its own separate country with its own imported king.
All right, Daniel Greenfield's column is called The Patriotism of Palestinianism, and thank you for your time.